Hey, we're live. We're live streaming. What's up, America? What's going on, everybody?
Some bad weather, I think, in some places.
Yeah, that's right. We just had a conversation with someone else in Maryland, and they're going through some crazy East Coast weather, from what I hear. And you doing okay there, Angie?
Yeah, there was no school today, which is like, but yeah, it's only rain.
Yeah. Okay. That's crazy. But hopefully everything's all right, guys. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm really excited to jam out with Angie. Angie, you're one of my favorite people in accounting. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. Ditto, by the way, Charlie, ditto.
I appreciate that. So I'll open up the live stream on my phone, guys. So if you guys have any questions for Angie, not to put you on the spot, Angie, but if anybody has any questions or thoughts or comments, please share. I'll just do a quick plug here too. If anybody that's watching this also wants to be a guest or would like to come on here, I'd love to meet more of you guys, connect with you guys. That would be amazing. But without further ado, let's dive in and hang out with Angie. So, Angie, I'm going to pull up the live stream too. I guess for starters, like if we go back to the beginning, like how did you even get into the accounting industry really in the first place? I'd be curious to hear about that.
It's actually really by accident. As a young person, I don't even think I was 21. As some people do, my parents got divorced and I kind of got lost in myself, didn't know what I want to do with my life. And I thought I could type. I would be a receptionist or something. And I learned to type and I got a job. I met a woman in there who knew someone who got a job at TIAA CREF. And she introduced me to the recruiter, and I got the job, and I in an audit department of all things. So I was going to be an audit assistant, and I was telling my sister, and she was like, "What's that?" I was like, "I don't know." And then in that position, I met a lot of CPAs, and they said, "Angie, you're actually kind of good at this. Why don't you change your major?" Which was kind of business in general. I kind of was floating all over the place, and I started doing accounting, and I got an A in my first accounting class, and I was like, who knew? And this might be a thing. And so that's how I ended up in accounting, really.
Okay. And what was the first job that you had, or the first, how did you get started there in terms of the first job?
Yeah, so when I met the HR lady, and they used to test you. This was 1987, guys.
Oh man.
I'm old as dirt. But in 1987, yeah, they test you, and I did the typing thing. But she said, you kind of did well in the math. Have you ever thought about that? And that's how she ended up putting me in an accounting department. Well, audits, really. I'm actually not an accounting general ledger type, but more analytical. And after the financials are prepared, I audit. And so I did payroll audits, accounts payable, receivable, that type of thing. And so that's where my investigatory skills come in.
That's pretty cool. I know.
Ethics, white collar crime. That's it.
Oh.
It got really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Do you have anything crazy stories or anything you can share or no?
So I had typical embezzlement type things. I had I had a couple of cook the books things. And then, when Sarbanes-Oxley came out, I was actually the chief auditor for a chemical manufacturing company that divested from Pfizer. So, and it was global. So it was all around the world with that thing. And I saw different things there. So, I can only share but so much, but
Yeah.
Interesting things. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And was this all on the East Coast out in
New
DMV?
York. I grew up in New York. I used to work in the Chrysler building. I was on the 49th floor on a corner office. Nice gig.
Okay, very cool. And now, and then when did you, I guess from there, how did you progress into eventually going out on your own?
Well, my first thought was I had a baby. Oh boy. And wouldn't that be nice to stay? I had dreams, delusions of being at home and raising a baby and maybe doing bookkeeping or something that I could leverage from accounting. And then my husband got laid off. He got laid off when I was 6 months pregnant. And there goes that. I went right back into corporate. And then he ended up finding a new job out in Northern Virginia. But I had already started the practice, but I didn't do much with it because I had to get right back into working.
Mhm.
And I'm in a very expensive county in the country. And so two, jobs are required here. So I had to stick with that. But I kept, on the side, little thing like everybody else. And then when I was 48 years old, somebody told me I was not good enough and laid me off. And I
Mm.
said, well, you know what? Never again. And
How
so
about
I
that?
really started focusing on my business. Mhm.
Isn't
And
that wild? Isn't it like crazy how sometimes these like pivotal moments that happen like that, like someone, you know, you get laid off or someone says like, hey, you're not good enough or whatever. Something
yeah,
happens in business and it just sends you on a completely different trajectory. And I'm sure there's probably other things that attributed to that, or like you were probably already, maybe not already wanting to go out on your own,
yeah,
but
in all fairness, you don't get along with everybody. All it takes is one manager to not like you. I'm being frank. And I think that's what it was. You can't just get rid of a chief auditor. It really is a process because you report to the board. And people can shuffle around and do whatever they want, but it is a process. So it's not you, it's us. We decided to go another way, and what they do is they outsourced the department, and that's how I ended up being let go. Like, it was a layoff, it wasn't really fired, or we didn't lose.
right.
That was just
Yeah.
my verb. But I feel that you have to reinvent yourself. You have to not fall apart. As you can see, I've had different things happen, but what we can't do is let these things stop us, right? You have to end up being true to yourself and find your way out of it.
hmm
And that was my way, building my business.
Yeah. And I know we tend to grow over time, especially the business owners in here, I'd say, that are watching this. Like Angie, I've known you for over at least 4 years now,
Yeah.
and I've seen a lot of growth from you. Um, and your skills improve and your success improve. So that's been super, super cool to see over time too.
And it's because I try. I don't expect things to just happen. You have to take the right courses, you have to put the commitment, you have to really want it. I mean, if you don't want it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. What do you think? And this is a pivot. What do you think is something that a lot? What do you think is something that's going on in the industry that could be improved, or is there that you think a lot of accountants maybe are thinking about the wrong way?
So there's a lot environmentally, some things you can't handle. You can't do anything about, right? Like IRS, Congress, whatever, political environment. But the things that you can control, yeah, there are plenty of things. I think a lot of us focus on the money, and that is a big killer. I believe, for me anyway, because it's either you're not happy because the money is just not making you happy because you just can't get there. Everything I do is focused on the client, the delivery, the service. If you're not thinking about that, then it's going to be painful. It's something you don't like. But when you do that, you're going to end up delivering something that you could tell you put a lot of effort in, a lot of love, attention, nurturing, and your clients appreciate that. And
hmm
from a lot of colleagues I speak with, they don't do that. You
hmm
know, it's not that they don't care, it's not intentional. I just think that they're focusing on the practice and the tools and the things and the money without saying, what do I need to do to deliver a quality product
mm
that will help my clients?
Boom.
Yeah.
I I think there's a few things going on there. I think there's so many things that are going on in business, right? And there's new shiny objects like softwares and tools that are coming out that keep
I
our
love
attention.
them. Our friend Olga, I'm gonna give her a shout out because she says,
What's
Angie,
up,
you spend too
Olga?
much. Yeah, you spend too much money, Angie. And I know, but I like bells and whistles. I like quality because guess what? We're coming from a corporate background. were coming
Mhm.
from companies that were able to afford giving you nice things so that you can have a nice process. I love the easy button. So now
Mhm.
you're a small business and now you have to go back to band-aids and patchwork and copy paste. I hate it. So as soon as possible, I want to get to that technology level where I can execute more efficiently.
Mhm.
It costs money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Costs money.
So that makes sense. So I do, I think that's the tools and having your focus on a lot of that stuff can really keep us from focusing on our quality of service. I
Mm.
think a huge one is volume, is number of clients that you're working with,
Ooh,
you
yes.
know. I think that's probably the biggest issue. I don't know if would you agree with that? Like if you're working with 500 clients or 300 clients, maybe harder to deliver a consistent high quality experience than maybe
I
with fewer.
absolutely agree with that because again, the money is driving that. Let me market more. Let me get more people. Let me close more deals. Yeah, but how are you delivering at the end? You have all these people. How are you serving them? You can't even return a call or email within 24 to 48 hours. There's some basic skill or basic tools of this sort that you have to have in place that we got, because you couldn't do that in corporate. The bosses say, oh, you didn't answer the customer, so on and so forth, but you can't even do that in your own business.
Mhm.
That's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eventually you're going to drop the ball and not have a good reputation.
Mhm. 100%. Or it's gonna drive you crazy, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Right, yeah.
because you're
Uh,
gonna have long days trying to serve everybody.
mhm. Yeah. What are some ways that, so you mentioned, focusing on client service is so important. What are some ways that you've improved client service or that you've worked on or thought you think about improving client service in
Well,
the
thanks to
business?
you, Charlie. I have to give you a good kudos right here because you always said to me, Angie, you need an office manager, you need some, and you really do because, and an admin. So sometimes, you obviously can't do it by yourself, but you always said you need somebody to manage this. But it's almost, you have to get that quality level person too. And if you're not paying these people, they're not going to hang around and they're not going to do a good job. So that was really very helpful, right? You have to have somebody where you can share this. And I found when I had an admin who was not necessarily a contractor, but somebody more dedicated to me, a W-2, who can keep these clients happy. Sometimes all the client needs to do is hear that you're thinking about them. Oh, we got your message. Give us 24 hours to answer. Someone to help show the service part and the nurturing part and the caring part. Yeah.
Yeah. I think sharing that care, showing that you care
Yeah.
is half the battle, I think. I think a lot of us in the space, like going back to the client volume issue, when you have so many clients, it's really hard to communicate that amount of caring or that level of caring.
Yeah. But
And
it's a
if you, yeah.
service business. So you have to do that service. You have to have a
Mhm.
quality service. You
Mhm.
can't do it by yourself.
100%. Um, what what was your I'm gonna just start surprising you with questions. I'm having fun with this. What was your favorite band growing up?
Believe it or
Or
not.
musician? What is it?
Believe it or not, Journey.
Journey. Wow.
Journey.
Wow. How about
Yeah.
that? Did you ever see them in
Steve
concert?
Perry. No, I don't like concerts. I don't like crowds. I could watch them on TV. That's fine. I don't like going to concerts. Yeah.
Okay. Don't stop
I've been to
believing over
Diana
here.
Ross though in Central Park in the rain.
Oh, wow. How was that?
Wet. It was nice. It was fun. I was like maybe 16 years old or whatever. It was fun.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's see here. So I know recently, as you've been focusing on client experience, you've been growing, you've been successful. Um, what are some services or what have you been really focusing on to continue to grow?
So I do a lot of mentoring coaching, like actually not formally, but someone always wants to get on my calendar and pick my brain on something. And you know me, I'm very giving and it does take a lot of time and it's draining and so forth because you want to give and you want to help other people. So I decided to create a platform where people can have an experience. You have access to me and you have access to quality training. I've now become an IRS authorized CE provider. I'm working with NASBA. They're slow, but I'm getting there so that CPAs can get credit for things I teach. But it's going to be a nice forum where I'm exposing professionals, exposing actually business people. Eventually, I'm going to get in there. But what that does is get more networking so that the business continues to grow. I love organic growth. And one of the reasons, by the way, the platform is ready. And one of the reasons I'm a procrastinator because I don't like selling. So I'm almost nervous for people to think that I'm no longer humble because it's important to me to remain humble. When money changes people, Charlie, money and credentials, the more people get big, the bigger their head is. I'm worried for my spirit. My spirit needs to be comfortable.
Well, this is
And
juicy. Okay.
yes, and even though who cares? People say, who cares what people think? I care. I actually do care to an extent. When I put my product out there, it's about the people. It's about what I'm giving. It's not about making myself rich or making myself important or famous. That's very important to me.
So you're very, very impact driven.
Yes. Yeah. Why do it? What's the value? What am I really offering you here? I'm not doing it for the money. I have to eat. Charlie, I have to eat. Got to get some money. Got a family. Some kids want to go to school, college, or whatever, like everybody else. But that comes secondary. I think that'll follow. It just naturally follows, but it's about what I'm putting out there for people.
I love that. I love that. We should have a conversation sometime about, is there a fear of money, of growing too big? Because that exists, right? Fear of success, or what will people think of me if I am successful? Does that make me greedy if I make more money?
Yes, that's a thing. That is a thing.
Yeah.
Start sweating, and then they're gonna, oh, she's not really that great. Maybe you're gonna slip up and say something, and now they're judging you. Oh, she shouldn't be up there. Why is Charlie interviewing Angie? What the heck she got to say? That's so important.
I'm loving this. I think it's not that I know you have a lot of good insights to add. You've been in this industry for a long time. You've built a very successful business. You're mentoring, you're helping accountants.
I see Oasis behind me. My firm was Angel Financial. That's the one that's going to do the mentoring and coaching. But Oasis, I formed with Olga, and that's a C corporation where all the tax, accounting, bookkeeping services are going to be over there. Representation. I love she hates it. I love it. She loves planning and advising. She can run with it, but together it's going to be a great team.
That's amazing. And I know both of you guys very well. We worked together very early on in my consulting career. So and it's just been incredible knowing both you and Olga so well, and you guys are the best. I see Alexis in here too. Hey, Alexis.
Oh, nice. I know Alexis. Yeah, she and I do some groups together. That's nice.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Good to see you in here, Alexis. But yeah, that is funny, right? I do a lot. I feel like I have a lot of self-awareness too when it comes to things like what is holding me back internally, mentally, and fear. I don't know if I have fear of success. I do think I have fear of judgment sometimes. I think we all do, about what are people going to think, whether they're your parents or your prospects or your clients or your peers. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to think about how that can limit your actions, I think.
But you know what? It's genuine though, because that's why I feel like keeping it real, right? I feel I want to be genuine. I want people to know this is what you see is what you get. I'm not superficial. I'm not in it for anything if I'm great, I'm great. What can I say? Some things I'm really good at. What can I tell you? Clients will tell you when I resolve a tax case, a representation case, it's like, wow, thank you. And I feel really great because that's my skill. I think that's a gift, Eric. I really do. I'm a negotiator.
That's incredible. So the program, or the, I don't know what you're calling it, a program or a course, or you tell me, what are you kind of labeling it
So
as?
it's a good question. I'm calling it a program.
Okay.
The Executive Touch is the brand, meaning I'm trying to get people to elevate their practice to an executive level. So you
Mm,
in corporate, nobody wanted you to be the president, or they didn't want to make you C-suite. You know, make yourself C-suite. But guess what? You got to act C-suite, right?
mm,
Write a complete sentence, speak well, right? Show up on time, turnaround responses 24 to 48 hours, deliver a quality result, care
mm,
about your operation. That's what executives do.
mm.
That's where we're trying to get our firms.
Okay, so is your program around how to operate like a executive in your business? So that's a big part of aspect of it, how to operate, how to show up like an executive, like a CEO.
Exactly. And have a nice networking group forum where other executives can help support each other. So you don't have to feel alone, because a lot of this can be lonely, right?
Mhm,
You can be the only person in your business, but you don't have to be alone.
mhm,
But at the same time, the major reason too for it is I want to be a gap filler or a bridge between theory and practice. A lot of these people are paying, this is what I see over and over again, paying for quality training and subscriptions and templates and,
mhm.
show me how to do this, designations. And then they come out and they go, okay, now what? They still don't know how to implement.
Lack of implementation. Yeah,
Right. So
yeah.
I'm that filler to say, okay, you learned how to do tax planning. Here's what you do, step one, step two, and we kind of help you. I don't want to teach the basics. You already have that. And in fact, you should be paying for quality programs, not cheap one, free and only one credit here. And no, quality training. And now you're going to take that and practice it, like really do it.
Mhm.
Mhm. I'm going to challenge you to do it, in my program.
Okay. And you mentioned a lot of this is around, how to show up like an executive. Can you share maybe a couple of tips or big ideas from your program that can help accountants to show up like an executive? Like what does that entail? What are
Yeah.
some things that would help there?
So because I'm an auditor, I 30 plus years in corporate audit. I'm a project manager. Processes are super important to me. Organization.
Mhm,
So a client calls you, and a lot of these people, these taxpayers come in with story. I got divorced. I was in a disaster. This happened to my business. Oh, I boomed and I didn't file for 10 years, whatever. Story, story, story. And then you come in as the professional and you're like, okay, I don't, what do I do with all of that? So forget about the noise around the client and the taxpayer situation. Have a solid process. How to vet them. Engagement letter comes first, right? Stick to all of your compliance things too, where the general liability company wants you to do. So your engagement letter, onboard the client in a smooth process. Reach out, get the payment correctly, do your bookkeeping. Step one, get the POA. I'm showing them how to actually execute. And when you get the next one, it's like, okay, what do I now? Your new story. No two clients are going to be the exact same. I get it, but you should. And that's why people are lost. They all are the same and not the same at the same time. You start them all the same way, and they kind of take their own life. But you got to have this well thought out, organized process. Otherwise, you're going to get lost in it. You absolutely cannot miss a deadline when you're doing representation work.
mm,
And we're one person with one head. You have to be able to, all of the clients start sounding the same. And I shout out a couple of my team members like Vince, Lynette. Sometimes we're talking, we're like, well, who are we talking about? Because some of them, they're married filing joint. Sometimes the spouse has the same name as that guy and two children, and they live in Virginia, and they all start sounding the same.
mhm,
That's good, showing you're growing, but you're not going to be able to manage this in your head or in Excel or etc. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And
Yeah.
so that's the tip, to just keep organized. organized for process.
Organize how to stay organized in the madness and in, all the workload. So,
A documented process, if you will.
uh-huh. I think that's fantastic. I see this as being really, and I think the work that you're doing is really extremely valuable and important. I think I think as in the I think in the accounting industry, wholeheartedly, we really care about our client base. Our clients so much that we focus. I think a lot of people are focusing 90 to 100% of their time on in the business client fulfillment, right?
Mhm.
And they're not dedicating or prioritizing hardly any time to being an executive. And
Mm.
um, I think that's well intentioned, and I think it can be it's easy to the first things that tend to get punted on or kicked down the road are those on the business tasks because the in the business emails or client fires feel more urgent, right? And you think that you're creating better client experience one at a time by dealing and handling the client fires and that, but actually having some time to work on the client experience system as a whole, right? How do I improve macro client experience or macro serving clients
Yes.
helps everybody, but most people I don't think are setting aside time to macro do things. It's more how do I handle all the fires that are going on at once, right? Would you say
Yes.
that makes sense
Yes.
if you're
And it's
seeing that?
hard. Okay, so your calendar, I tell people all the time, you have to live by that calendar. If it's not in the calendar, it's not happening,
Mm,
especially when you're really growing. You're trying to fit a lot in. And so somebody once told me to build just certain amount of time on the calendar where prospects can schedule themselves because you can control that. You'll know, okay, Monday at 2, somebody might fill that spot, or Thursday at 7. You kind of have different spots
mhm.
that you just block off, and just don't let them take your night. Don't leave it wide open because they'll book all day and all night. You'll never get anything done,
Right.
and then you control the rest. Like once they're on board, or colleagues, like you want to meet somebody and do something, maybe your chamber's having a breakfast and you want to go, but everything has to be on the calendar because
Mhm.
like I've forgotten to pick up my son before. So things like, so put those in too. You pick up your
I'm
son after
sure
band practice. Yeah.
I would imagine there's probably some other moms that'll see this that are dads that can relate. So yeah.
Yeah. One time my daughter, it was her birthday and she wanted me to have lunch with her, and I forgot. And by the time she wanted me to bring her Chick-fil-A because you can bring in an outside lunch, and
Uh-huh.
I completely forgot. And when I got there, she was so light about it. I just got lunch from the cafeteria, and when I got to the parking lot, I cried because it
Oh,
was such a small request and I messed it up.
oh.
I know. I'm not gonna get emotional, but yeah, that's reality. It happened.
Mm. So I think part of what you do is help with that organization and prioritization,
Mhm.
really to
Yep.
help
And it
that
has
get
to feel
organized.
important to you, right? Because if you miss something for a client and you can't say, whatever.
Right.
No, it's important. Own it and make it right.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. You can't if someone I don't know, I've just constantly used gym expressions for some reason, but
Yeah,
if you don't want to lose weight, if you're not determined to lose weight, it's going to be very difficult to do that, right? So if you're not really determined to solve a problem, it's going to be that much more difficult to do something about it, right?
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
what's on your Christmas list, holiday list this year?
Just driving to Florida. My mom, she's elderly and she became blind during the pandemic. And
Hmm.
she's been living with my sister in Connecticut. And so I want to give her some warmth, some sun. So I asked a couple of family members, let's just drive down there. I know people don't like road trips. I'm Jamaican. We just like to drive. Don't ask me why. But
Yeah.
I get my little jitney and I'll drive down to Florida. I'll stop at a couple of relatives along the way, say hi. and just enjoy the sun. I'll
Mm,
probably still be working. The team will probably see Angie put the pencil down, stop working, but I just keep things moving. But some sun would be nice.
yeah, that sounds amazing. I'll be in Jamaica in what, 2 or 3 weeks. So that's pretty
Wow.
excited about that. Yeah.
Yes. I'm actually trying to do my business retreat in Jamaica in July. So
Oh,
yep,
listen
from
to
the
that,
5th to the
guys.
8th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I may pay a couple people to come speak. Maybe you're one of them. I don't know.
Uh,
I'll see if you're available.
Let me know. Let me know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be there. When did
Yeah.
when did you when did you say you're doing that?
So I'm aiming for the 5th to the 8th. So I think
Hmm.
it's starting to resonate with people. And so I'm gonna start putting that. I have to own a date. Gosh, make a date and
Hmm.
just go and
First
do
step
everything.
always for events is
Yeah.
is commit to a date.
And I may make it hybrid. So if people can't come at least 1 or 2 sessions, they can plug in. I don't want it to be all learning. I really do want it to be retreat, networking, fun, team building type of spirit, joyous, but tax deductible at the same time.
Well, we're such accountants. Oh my
Dude,
gosh.
come
It's a
on
write-off.
now.
Uh,
Yeah.
I guess we could start to wrap up, Angie. Is there anything else that accountants should know about, who your program's good for, about the program, where they can check it out?
Yes. So the program is about getting off the typical Zoom experience, come for a real experience with other like-minded entrepreneurs and really grow and implement with a team spirit, with an organized spirit, elevate to an executive level practice. That's my thing. And if you always feel you need some coaching, a place to go to for support, because a lot of these gurus where we take the classes from, they don't have time to talk to. There's talking heads
Mhm.
and they don't have time to answer your questions really. I'm hoping that I'll always have that, but because eventually it gets so big, you're like, oh my God, I
Yeah.
lost the people. And I hope to not lose that. But if in any case we're gonna find a way, we're just gonna figure out a way I'm glad Charlie, I could still talk to Charlie. I sometimes, Charlie might get so big and I can't talk to Charlie anymore.
Oh,
I don't want that.
I'll be here, Angie. Yeah, and you could teach us on speaking of executive. Look at how you're dressed. Looking all
Well,
professional.
I took off my little sweat jacket and put on a jacket because and again, this is because I find Charlie to be important enough that I have to put a jacket on I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak. So
And
I'm
here
going
I
to put
am in
my
my
best foot
Columbia
forward.
jacket because this is just my style, guys. But
But I'm very old school though, Charlie. I really am. I'm super corporate.
yeah.
When I used to work for a manufacturing company and visit the plants, they used to say, this is dress down, right? But that was my dress down. That's just
Mhm.
my style. No worries.
Yeah.
I love your Columbia
Thank you.
jacket.
Oh, Angie, well, I appreciate you so much, and I know I said this earlier, but you're one of my favorite people in the accounting industry. I consider you a
Uh,
friend.
I
Let's
tried to see you in San Diego, but you weren't available. But next
I
time.
know, I know. There was something going on that weekend, and I can't
Yes,
remember what was going on, but yeah, I couldn't see you. I'm
no worries.
sorry, but I hope I'll see you in Jamaica
Yeah, that'd
or
be great.
the next time you're over here. And actually, I would like to start going to more conferences, guys. So I haven't been checking the conference schedule. I know there was just QuickBooks Connect going on. I know. But I'd like to start going to some of those too and meeting some of you guys as well. So I'll have to stay posted on that. But
Awesome.
Angie, did you say, is there a website, or can you put in the comments maybe of this live stream the link to your program to find out more
Oh yeah, absolutely.
about
I'll
that?
tell you right now. Just bear with
Because
me.
it's great to talk all this good stuff about this thing and then nobody have any idea how to get to it, right?
Exactly, exactly. I'm gonna post it on Facebook as well, so people could know. I'll stop procrastinating and finally do it. But let me do this for you right now. I'm
Okay.
also a stickler for spelling, and even a hyphen in the wrong place bothers me. So I wanted all of that to be fixed perfectly before I put it out there. So I'm gonna put it in the chat for you
Okay.
right here.
Are you
There
putting
it
it
is.
in Zoom chat or the Facebook chat?
Oh,
Oh, it's
the one
okay.
I'm
So it's
yeah.
we need to put that in this live stream. So can you put,
Oh,
when we get off of here, maybe I would
okay,
paste that into the live stream comments so that way
okay.
people can sign up. Cause it's just me and you in the Zoom chat, so.
Oh, well, I
Um,
thought you were gonna do it, but I don't, I'm not
I
on the Facebook Live, so
Yeah, I just copied it, so once we get off of here, I'll paste it into, okay?
I
Um,
appreciate it, and I will definitely post it as well. I will get off the procrastination horse and do it.
I gotta come up with like a good, you know how a lot of like podcast hosts, they'll ask like a good last question. I don't know what my last question would be like for when I do these guest interviews, but one that's coming up is that for right now at least is what's the change that you want to be in the accounting industry?
Oh,
Or
I want to be the change of possibility because there are many up and coming professionals, very smart, that I'm sick of hearing about the imposter syndrome. That is the purpose of what I want to do at the end of my career or give back. Get over that imposter syndrome and know that you can do it. And that's the whole point of becoming an executive level within your practice. Get over
I
that,
love that.
own the fact that you can do this.
Yeah. How did you overcome an imposter syndrome just briefly before we jump off of here? Because
I,
that's such a big word.
I, well, you fake it till you make it, as they say, but I faith it,
Mm,
FAITH, right? It's a belief. You have to believe, but you just kind of keep doing it. And again, I'm telling you, when you get older and you've convinced yourself because you start delivering them, and you're going to hear people tell you you're great, you're good, the results are wonderful. You're going to start believing it after a while. I mean, dude, everybody can't be wrong,
mhm.
and you have to own your greatness.
I think when I was first starting out, in anything, in business in general, on doing coaching with clients in marketing and sales, I think um I leveraged confidence and belief from my mentors. So mentors told me I could do it, so I had more faith that I could do it.
Right.
And I mean, that's my honest thought is that helped so much that I had that belief instilled from mentors. And of course, there's still imposter syndrome and self doubt, but it helps.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. But okay, Angie. Well, this was awesome. This is awesome. I know this hopefully won't be the last time that you come
Yeah.
on. I'd love to talk to you more. And
Awesome.
yeah, let's
Appreciate you
keep
so
rocking and
much.
rolling. So
Yes.
awesome, Angie.
I'll
Okay.
see you out there.
Okay. See ya.
All right.